Hi and welcome to Yubnubbs guide to level 19 Twink Paladin Healer. So I've been thinking on how to do this properly, and this is how I decided that it will go. The whole guide will be finished by the release of this introduction, and what I mean by that is that the planned episodes will be done by now, but they will be unlisted. This is because I don't want to flood people's subscriber feeds, but you can watch them all right now if you like. They will be listed in the description and also at the end of this video. I will make them public with a few days in between, and there will most likely be a playlist available right now in my channel. So this will be episode 0, the introduction to the guide. We will talk a little bit about what you can expect to see in this guide, some tips and other not so important stuff. You do not need to see this episode, but if you go on and complain about stuff already covered here in later episodes without having seen this one, I simply won't reply. In the beginning of this year I asked what my subscribers wanted to see in 2016, and a Paladin Twink guide was suggested. This is something I started planning when I played on Molten already back in 2014, before Herms destroyed it. I actually had a pretty good Paladin named Damodred back then and was pretty close to starting on the guide. I spent over 1,000 hours if you count the grinding on the Twink Hunter guide, and I'm not going to do that again, I simply don't have the time. I was actually remaking the power set episode with all pieces except the ring when the servers went down, so that's why there wasn't any more episodes in the last guide. I kind of lost the spark there and I didn't feel like starting all over again. So this time it won't be on Molten, which is called Warmain now. This will be a guide in the general direction that should work on all private servers. This means that there might be slight differences from what server you are playing on from what you see in this guide. This includes base stats, quests, items, especially bag reward items. So I spent about a year on the other guide in total. I'm not really gonna do that again, so I set up a private Trinity Core server instead. It's only me on this server, it's set up just to make this guide and be as convenient for me as possible. If someone else show up, it's because I have invited that person to help out, and you would most likely not like it here anyway, since pretty much nothing really works. But this gives me Game Master status and makes life a lot easier for me. I have noticed that a few things are a lot different on this server from Warmain, especially when I brought up my old base stats chart, and the base stats are off by quite a bit. I can imagine that this goes for all private servers though, so please note that things might not be 100% correct. This guide should however have the same end result, and that is a good Paladin Healer Twink in the end, no matter what server you are on. And depending on how good this guide will do, I might do more episodes later and expand on it, like flag carrier, stamina builds, etc. Because let's face it, if no one watches this, it's not much reason for me to spend time on it. And if you plan on playing as Horde on Warmain, currently when recording this episode you can faction change even as a level 19 at Warmain Raaaww. This was not possible before, and I'm not sure if they will remove it again, but what it allows you to do is go over to Alliance and get the Glacial Stone, which is normally only available for Alliance and is hands down the best weapon for level 19 Paladins. I will definitely include this in the guide. It's not cheap to transfer, but if you are dead serious about your Twink, I would recommend getting it as fast as possible, since it eliminates a big disadvantage that you will have as a Horde player against Alliance Paladins. There are a few more items that you can pick up, such as Seal of Ryn and the Chouses of Westfall, and a bunch more while you are over there. So it's not only the Glacial Stone that you can get, just get as much as you can and then transfer back. It will most likely set you back around 60 coins total transferring over there and back, so yeah, it's pretty expensive, but if you are serious about your Twink, I don't think you will regret it. Unlike the Twink Hunter guide, this guide will not include quests. These episodes were not really that popular, so if you need to look up an item, you can probably find instructions how to get it by visiting openwow.com and search for the item you're looking for. Some of the quests, like Lucky Fishing Hat, is covered in Yubnubbs guide to level 19 Twink Hunter. However, I believe that the new Raaaww you only fish for the hat on Sundays like on retail, and that the bug pools have been fixed. So this makes it a little bit harder to get a hat, it will be a little bit more competitive. If you plan on starting to twink on Lord Aeron, it will be a lot harder now than it was when I made the hunter guide. Actually, there are a lot of big differences now. There are no bind on account items. I believe that you can't vote for items. I'm not 100% sure because I don't play there, but I've heard that you can't vote for items. So items such as Arena Grandmaster will be really hard to get now, and it will probably be a pretty big status icon to have the Arena Grandmaster nowadays. But me personally, I like the changes. I like the more hardcore approach and direction that they have taken. But right now I don't have the time to start over, especially not when it's more hardcore now and a lot harder to get the stuff. So I hope that this private server will do for you. Anyway, that will be it for this introduction. I hope that you will enjoy this guide and learn something from it. Be sure to check out the other episodes. Thank you for watching and see you next time.